Hello and welcome back. This is Junhua from TCM Explained. In the last video, we started our topic on the 5 vital substances. We talked about essence, and in this video, we are going to learn about qi. Our first video was about the theory of qi, and in the past few videos, we kind of talked about qi here and there, so I hope we are feeling pretty comfortable with it by now. Now let's learn about specific functions of qi. There are 6 functions: holding, transporting, raising, protecting, warming, and transforming. Number 1, holding. Qi can hold the blood and body fluids in the right place. In other words, qi can control yin substances. For example, qi of the lungs holds the sweat. Qi of the spleen holds the blood within the vessel, and qi of the kidneys and bladder holds urine within the bladder. As you can imagine, compromisation of holding function of qi can lead to a leakage of blood and body fluids, which is not good. Number 2, transporting. Qi is yang, it is active in nature. Qi can not only hold things within proper places, but also move things around. Qi transports blood and body fluids around our body. Here we can talk about the 4 directions of qi movement so that we have a better understanding of how qi transports things. Qi can ascend, descend, exit, and enter in different tissues and organs in our body. Think of them as yin-yang pairs. Ascending is yang and descending is yin. Exiting is yang and entering is yin. Here, exiting can be understood as outward and entering as inward. Number 3, raising. We already know that qi has 4 movements, but as qi is yang in nature and upward direction is yang quality, qi is inclined to its raising function. So we give more emphasis to this function. Again, it can raise the blood and body fluids and even organs to the right place. Number 4, protecting. Qi can ascend and exit. In other words, it can go up and outward. One type of qi called defensive qi does the exact same thing. It irrigates the space between the skin and muscles, which we refer to as the exterior of our body, and it pushes out any exterior pathogens that invade that space to get deeper into our body. Number 5, warming. Qi is yang in nature, so qi is able to warm. The sun's energy warms the atmosphere and surface of the earth. We know this is very important for our life. Our body also must have warmth to function. If there's no yang qi to warm our body is not different from a piece of meat. Number 6, transforming. When there is warmth, transformation can take place. Since qi can warm things, it can transform things as well. Here are some examples. Qi of the spleen can transform food into food qi, which is more distilled and refined substance. Then the heart qi further transforms that food qi into blood. Another example is qi of the kidneys and bladder can transform fluids to form urine. Also remember that essence can transform into qi, and qi itself can transform into mind due to this function. So we covered all 6 functions of qi, and let's talk a little bit more about the movements of qi. According to the 4 movements of qi, we know that qi can ascend, descend, exit, and enter. We also learned the movements of each organ according to the theory of 5 elements. The liver qi expands, meaning it ascends and exits. The heart qi flares upwards. The lung qi contracts, meaning it descends and enters, and the kidney qi moistens downwards. In the video on the theory of 5 elements, we learned that fire and water are the axis that has a direct communication, and the earth is in between, acting as a pivot or the hub of the wheel, turning the outer rim of the wheel, wood and metal. Up to this point, we learned 5 yang organs and 5 yin organs. But there is one more yang organ called triple burner and yin organ called pericardium. Triple burner is the 3 division of the body that functions as the passage for different types of qi, including original qi. The lungs and heart are in the upper burner, the spleen and stomach in the middle burner, and the liver and kidneys in the lower burner. With this information, we can elaborate the movements of qi, so-called qi mechanism. The heart in the upper burner represents fire, and the kidneys in the lower burner represents water. Heart fire descends to the lower burner to warm the kidney water. Kidney water ascends to the upper burner to cool the heart fire. This communication is important in the balance of yin-yang in our body. The spleen and stomach in the middle burner is the central axis. Spleen qi ascends and stomach qi descends. As the spleen and stomach turn, the outer wheel, which is the liver and lungs, follows the movement. In other words, as spleen qi ascends, liver qi ascends from the lower burner on the left. As stomach qi descends, lung qi descends from the upper burner on the right. We are going to learn more about each organs and their functions in more detail when we get to TCM Physiology series. For now, let's move on to the production of different types of qi in our body. In our very first video, we learned that the traditional Chinese character for qi is a combined pictograph for air and food because qi refers to energy and energy is extracted from the air and food. So air and food play an important role in the production of different types of qi in our body. Let's take a closer look. After we consume our food, food goes down to the middle of our body where earth organs are. As we know, the earth organs refer to the stomach and spleen. The qi of the stomach and spleen together are called central qi or zhong qi. The stomach qi rots and ripens the food, then the spleen qi transforms that into fu qi or gu qi. Then fu qi rises to the chest, it enters the lungs, combines with the air, qing qi, and becomes gathering qi or zhong qi. Fu qi also rises to the chest, goes to the lungs, and then enters the heart where it is transformed into blood with the help of an agent called original qi or yuan qi. Since gathering qi is formed in the chest, it is closely related to the lungs and heart. Because of that reason, gathering qi is said to promote the functions of these 2 organs: respiration and strength of voice for the lungs, and blood circulation and speech for the heart. You may be wondering why voice and speech. We will get back to that in our TCM Physiology series. Back to the gathering qi, there is one more step before we reach the last stage of qi transformation. Again, with the help of original qi or yuan qi, gathering qi transforms into true qi or zhen qi in the lungs. True qi has 2 different forms. One is nutritive qi or yin qi. The other one is defensive qi or wei qi. Nutritive qi is relatively yin. It is closely related to the blood, flowing within the blood vessels, and its function is to nourish the organs. On the other hand, defensive qi is relatively yang. It is closely related to the qi, flowing outside of the blood vessels, and its function is to protect the exterior of the body and to regulate the temperature of the body by controlling the sweat pores. This diagram pretty much covers all types of qi. Before we end today's video, we can discuss a little bit about the original qi. This qi is already mentioned in this diagram. It facilitates the transformation of gathering qi into true qi in the lungs, and also the transformation of fu qi into the blood in the heart. As original qi helps the transformation of qi and blood, it is known as the motive force for transformation in physiological activities. So it's really important. That also explains why original qi originates in between the two kidneys, being closely related with the essence and the fire of the gate of life. From the kidneys, it spreads to the entire body and organs through the triple burner, which refers to upper, middle, and the lower part of our body, and then emerges at the source points of each acupuncture channels. I hope this video was informative, and if you want to learn more, you can visit our blog. In the next video, we are going to learn about the third vital substance, blood.